Welcome to the Mighty Grow podcast. Here with my associate, Mr. Michael Dupree. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
No, I'm fantastic. It's just, wow. The future of gardening, maybe, or vegetable gardening, never seemed so bright with this coronavirus.
Absolutely. I completely agree.
Wow, I'm so excited. The thing is, why would you want to go to a mall in this time? Huh? Why would you want?
I think a lot of people are panic purchasing. They're assuming that the stores are going to be empty in a while, or there will be restrictions, and like in China, the stores will close, or they will only be open for a certain amount of time during the day, and then they're scared they won't be able to get the resources they need.
Okay. But that's amazing and everything. But what if we buy all this bread, we buy all this meat, everything, and then Eskom's workers don't go to work and there's no power, and what then? Then everything rots. I mean, it's stupid. If I was panic buying, I would first be buying maybe a 10 kg bag of flour, for bread. Then some
But
sugar.
how are you going to bake bread?
You can leave bread in the sun. You can always make fire.
True.
Yes,
That's a good point.
yes. And bread is something that keeps you full. So it's an amazing product. But the main thing I would be doing is getting some seeds, getting some ground, and start planting my own food. I mean, this virus is teaching us to go back to where we came from, providing for ourselves, being prepared. And a lot of people don't have vegetable gardens. They have no source of food. They have no source of food except the store.
Oh no, I completely agree, and I really think it's very important that people understand the importance of being able to provide for yourself, being able to provide for your family, especially now in the coming months, when we will now see the full effect that the coronavirus's spread will have in our South African context. Because you're absolutely right. We do live in South Africa, and Eskom is a problem. If the power goes off, all the food in your fridge could rot. Everything in your freezer could go bad, and then you have a problem.
But that's the amazing thing I don't understand. Like, let's say we refer to movies, TV shows, and all that kind of stuff. The first thing people start to do after a while, after they start surviving, is build their own crops. Why aren't people... I mean, we're not selling veg at all. At our nursery, we're not selling veg. We're not really selling seed. It's a rare item that's being purchased. But I don't understand why. When I heard about this thing, the first thing I did was started making my vegetable garden bigger, stronger. I mean, anyway, let's say there's no food in the store, and everything goes south, everything goes wrong, and there's a war around food. What do you think is going to happen if you go out there looking for food outside of your home?
First of all, I think that the very important thing to note with going out into a shop, into a store at any time, even now, is that it could be dangerous. It could be detrimental to your health. You could pick up the virus, especially in crowded places like malls or shopping centers that are really busy. I don't think we'll have a war. Well, everything depends.
About a war.
Yes, but it's much safer to be able to cultivate and grow your own vegetables and harvest them from your own garden than going to a shop and buying them.
Yes, and I'm also... when you're in the garden, the air is so clear, your thoughts are clear, you're thinking straight, and you're providing for yourself. I mean, have you ever plucked your own corn, made it, and had it for dinner? Something that starts from a little 1 centimeter size seed, is now on your plate. It's amazing. Why would you not want to do that?
Yes, no, I completely agree, and it tastes better as well.
Yeah,
From
it's
your
a
own
lot
from your own
better.
garden, because it's all natural. You know what you put into your ground, and you know what you're getting out of it. So I think it's very important that people start to realize that vegetable gardening is going to be a very important part of our future.
Now, the thing is, a lot of people, I think, struggle with space. I mean, let's say you don't have a farm or a small holding or something like that. I mean, what do you do then? If you don't have space in your backyard.
Well, I think you can always repurpose certain items. If you have a couple of wood planks lying around and you have a drill, then you can make your own grow bed.
Mm.
Or we next week, well, I'm saying next week, this Saturday, in fact, we are going to have a little video that we're going to post on YouTube in collaboration with Plant Matter SA. We were going to
So
use
excited about that.
Very
Can't
excited
wait.
about that. Can't wait. We're going to plant some things in their fabric planting bags, which are very, very beautiful, brilliant products from Plant Matter SA. And they also sell a grow bed that I think is ideal to be able to plant vegetables and things in, especially if your space is limited. If you don't have the soil space, for instance, if you have paving or something, you can put that grow bed on the paving, and it's also made out of material, and it's also very nice to look at. It's a very beautiful product.
That's the thing. I think if you maybe we should do a video about that as well. We should maybe order one of those and do a nice tutorial video about that. Let the people know. But yeah, a lot of people also say, okay, that's great, but now what do we do in the winter? And do people seriously think there's no vegetables or fruit that grow in the winter? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like for a couple of months of the year, nothing grows, absolutely nothing,
Yes.
and the food that we get just materializes out of thin air.
Yes.
All the vegetables and stuff in the store during the winter that comes from another planet.
Yes. But anyway, let's list some stuff that people can know. You can always see this is perfect because even in the winter, when you're growing these veggies outside, you can make yourself an awesome soup even if you want to. I mean, let's say we can always make fire. We said that, and we have pots in our home, and we have water. Now we can make water. Well, we can grow onions in the winter. We can grow some garlic. We can grow some carrots. We can grow some peas. We can grow some asparagus. That sounds like a nice soup to me. You can even grow some cauliflower. Cauliflower soup is one of the best soups in the world. Add some garlic, add some onion, and everything is fresh.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why panic running to the store? Just provide for yourself in your own environment. Now you go and buy up the store.
Now, for produce that isn't going to keep, it
Yes.
isn't going to stay fresh, and then even if it does stay fresh, even if it keeps, you're going to run out, and then you're going to have to go back to the store, and the store isn't going to have anything because there's 500 other people just like you that went to a store and purchased everything. So what we're actually trying to say is that listen, we don't have anything against people who are buying up resources
it's
for
good
them to
to
use.
be
Yeah, it's
cautious.
good to be prepared, good to be cautious. But if everybody does it, if everybody goes into panic mode and purchases everything in the store, it's what's happening in Australia and in America. The stores are empty. And they're buying things like toilet paper. Why?
I don't know. Anyway, what happens if, besides the point. I still believe, even through this virus, there will be enough food. I mean, there will be more than enough food. There's not, like, every day people buy stuff, or they buy a little more, they buy a little less. Every day there's food. And it's not like the whole world is just going to stop. And if it does, trust me, there's always gonna be someone in front of you that gets to buy the stuff that you want. But if you can stay home, you have your garden, you have your seeds growing. I mean, it takes 60 days normally. That's if you have no extra fertilizer, nothing, for a pack of corn to grow. There's almost 100 seeds. Let's say 2 to 3 heads in each that comes out of each seed. It's 200 pieces of corn. Telling me just the corn alone won't last you through this crisis. If we're really in panic mode and everybody eats 2 to 3 pieces of corn a day, if we're in real panic mode, telling me that wouldn't be enough. They run to the store, buy food and fish, and why? Ready-made meals, that's the best. People buying ready-made meals that don't even last in the fridge 4 days.
Yeah, they're going to experience a little problem once those ready-made meals don't keep anymore. Once they're rotten, and then you're gonna.
It's also not enough, even if they keep. If you're sitting in isolation for a month, how many ready-made meals could you really have bought beforehand?
And how many of them will keep?
Exactly. So, also the other thing, the other day me and you were sitting on the patio, and I said to you, you know what? This patio is so dull. It's only walls and paint and then you said what to me? Because I want to share this with the people. This was like a guiding light.
I just said, you know what a difference it would make if we just plant one pot or a few pots with a nice little plant in, or a nice little flower, how it would liven up the patio, because the patio is a bit impersonal. It's a bit cold, it's got sharp edges everywhere, and I understand it could do with that, and it's grey and like dull, so it could do with that pop of green, that pop of color, that purple, that flower.
And I also feel like when people think of a patio, they don't think of putting some pots everywhere. Like, let's say the patio has 4 corners. If you put a nice pot with, let's say, lavender in the one, or in the other pot you make a square, and you plant some beautiful herbs, some sage, some thyme, rosemary,
stuff like
I mean,
that.
just think how that would brighten up the place. Pop of purple, pop of herbs. I mean, why not? Why not doing this? Why is this not a modern thing?
Yeah,
what do you think is the problem?
It's a good question. I don't really know if there is a problem per se, but I think people spend so much time busy in their work life, in their personal life, in busy with things outside of gardening, of horticulture, of planting things in pots and putting them everywhere, and it takes time, but it really doesn't take a lot of time. People think, no, gardening is so time consuming, and I work every day from 8 to 5 and I don't have time to garden when I get home at night. We aren't saying maintain an entire garden.
Yes, or this is easy. This is
maintain an entire piece of lawn and plants and trees and a vegetable garden. What we're saying is maybe take a pot, pick a plant that looks nice, come to Mighty Grow Nursery, we'll help you. Something that can grow in the shade or semi-sun, put it on your patio, make it look nice, make it look beautiful, and just give it water.
Yeah. And the thing is, even if you get home at 5, whatever, let's say you take a Saturday and you plant all these plants. Every day you come home, you just fill, you come home at 5, you buy these plants over the weekend, you get them planted, nice, settled, everything. It takes you the longest it can take, it's an hour. You water them, Every day you get home at 5. You water them once, properly. Saturday, Sunday, you're sitting on your patio, you're having a nice barbecue, braai, whatever you prefer. Or you make them some nice lunch, or you're just drinking some wine. This pop of color, and like I feel like we're spending so much money. We're just when you think of a patio, you think, okay, these nice furniture and tables and all these extra stuff you put on your patio. And why is the first thing not to make it pop, make it bright with some plants? I mean, plants make everything better. That's a fact. But yeah, so also when we're planting these plants in the pot, we want to use the right mix, of course, especially if we're busy. So we would use what, for instance?
Of course, it would depend on what you're planting in the pot.
Yes.
But
let's say we're planting some herbs, we're planting some lavender. We would just use a normal potting soil, maybe.
Potting soil and a bit of compost, I think.
Now that is of course not a fertilizer.
Not a
We're not
fertilizer.
using fertilizer in the pot for now, because remember, a fertilizer keeps a lot of water, and especially in a pot, we don't want that.
Absolutely.
Yes. So to end the podcast, we just want to say to everyone that when you're planting your vegetable garden, remember, put some compost, keep the ground nice and fertile, and remember, it's optional, but the harvest is a lot quicker when you're using some bone meal. And then to spice up that patio, what do we need in those pots?
Just your pot. You can plant herbs in it, rosemary, thyme. You can plant some lavender, and obviously you're just going to need some potting soil and some compost, and that's it. And you just need to regularly water those plants, and your patio will look amazing.
Yes. So we want to spice up our patios, and then so this is the highlight for the podcast: spice up those patios. Buy cheaper furniture, spice up the patios, and then of course, please people, build those vegetable gardens. It's gonna do us all a lot of favors. So thank you for listening, and see you next week.
See you next week.